thank you so much, Vijay, for joining for this discussion and the podcast.
Sure.
So I was amazed to see the work which you are doing, and you have been into the learning and development training function from last 20 years, and this is really means to many organizations. So just would like to understand your entire journey, and if you can just share and highlight few pointers that why not being in the job. What made you to take this shift rather than serving for one organization to the multiple organization? And I believe that many of our colleagues, those are into this dilemma of this process, they must be getting a lot of help from the thought process or the thoughts or whatever you had in your head. Yeah, please go ahead.
Got it. So let me start how this entire thing started. I'm from Orissa, Berhampur. So in my hometown, there is this thing like if you try to talk in English with somebody also, people will say, why are you showing it off? Are you some Angrez, things like that. So we typically talk in our local language and never thought the necessity of English and all this. But some stuff happened, life events turned up, and I landed up in Bangalore to do my MBA. And I remember so damn clearly my first day of college where I was standing and they said, introduce yourself. I am supposed to say my name, from where I have come and all. And suddenly a white screen came in front and I have no idea. I don't know one word of English to tell. I'm like, bah, 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 bah. I don't know English a word the day I came to Bangalore to do my MBA. And that's how I was. So my professor there, Mr. Arnold Mascarenas, he was business communication teacher. He said, don't worry, Vijay, take 5 years. In 5 years' time, you should come back and teach this subject. I looked up to him and I said, he gone mad, crazy man. How do you think even it happens? But something happened then. It did not took 5 years. It took 3 years. In 3 years, I'm in the same college where the professor is still there. They gave me a subject called as strategic management. And I said, I will teach strategic management. Condition apply, you give me business communication. I was a permanent faculty, joined them, and he was a visiting one. He's expensive for college, typically to say. And then they said, okay. And I reached the college. I reached the session and the person said, I told you to come after 5 years. Bugger, you came in 3 years. And that changed stuff for me. So a lot of professors impacted a lot. The way training happens, the way storytelling happens. So I learned in 2 months 3 weeks, I think, in my MBA, I started working. For one of my another professor called Sudhir Jaiswal, who's my mentor, he and me were working together for his company, where we were designing games. So training, teaching, gaming, creating activities for sessions and all is all things that I've got from him. Where I felt if he's doing, why not? And to say the story, it's fine to say 3 years I'm back in that place, but I worked a lot on myself. That's the only time I think in my life I worked, because I'm a 40-45% student from my 10th. I got 49 in my 10th, 59 in my 10 plus 2. 39, 49 and 59 in my graduation is 59. So that's basically how my scores were. I wasn't a good student then. But something changed there. Then I realized, if I can learn, like me, tons and tons of people are there. How important it would be to tell them that you can also learn. And it's just the 2-3 years you can teach that subject. Even I'm saying, I don't want to leave Bangalore for that one reason. I remember the day I can't talk a word. Now I'm teaching hundreds of people who are in the same stage. So if you're very good with English, you are exposed to a lot more things, you're doing wonderful, you are at a great college, maybe I'm not for you. But you are struggling in some place, either mentally or while communication, I can be a super help for you, because I know how this path can be covered, because I've covered this path. And that's the basic intention why I want to start. I started my first company in 2 years. After my work experience, 1.5 years. When I was trying to join this college, I started my company called as Mindflower Edutainment Private Limited. But then I realized I have not learnt anything. What will I teach? Only energy and intention is there. After a year and a half, I also had an NGO then. I worked for some time. Things moved out not so great. I thought, let me get back to corporate. Learn and come back. So it took maybe a lot of time, 15 years. From there, I worked and then started my company Up and Rise, but still doing the same thing. We have a private limited and we also have Up and Rise Foundation. With foundation, I help youngsters who are about to get into corporate by finishing school or pre-placement, or who entered the companies where we tell them what you learnt in college is very different and theoretic. Like people will teach in MBA, BCG metrics. You go for a job and you think, I will do strategic business unit. By the time you do it, it's 15-20 years in your job. You don't remember them. Suddenly they will say, Acha, you learned all that, open an Excel or go to a credit card shop and try to sell this, and depends on what field you'd have taken. Culture shock, life mein shock lagega ki, what did I study and what am I doing? And people tremble there. They make bad career decisions there. Ki, acha, one job I have done which is call center, so I'm only for call center. Or one job I did for a sales job somewhere and I should only be there. You got to listen to this one, and I think that's where I can add value, and that's the idea of this entire stuff what I do.
Brilliant. So recently, I had a podcast there in one of the campus in Bangalore.
Okay.
It is ISBR campus in Electronic City somewhere.
Okay.
And there was a young entrepreneur called Manish Kothari. He is the founder of this college. And he shared such an insightful thing, what he is bringing into their institutes, and just giving them, their entire curriculum is based upon what is going on currently in the industry. And most of the advisors are the industry people, right? Those are coming and delivering session there, and they are helping them to tune and reframe their entire curriculum. And I feel this is the biggest gap in the overall education system in India. We do teach them, which is there theoretically, but we do not teach them what is really required to stand out in the industry.
Correct.
And where the need to change in the ecosystem of the education is really required, I think the policymakers in India, they need to really think through. However, they are bringing this internship and all this module that people need to go to some industry, learn and everything. Now, this is what they are doing from the second year or third year onwards. My question is only, why not from the first year? Why not, you make this as a system of their curriculum, so that 70% or 60% they learn the thing or the skill which is really required to do in the corporates, rather than making them understand about all the theories and the concept which is there only in the books. Rarely they applied in this industry. And even though the certain the principles are there, they are applicable and applied those days when the books were written there. What is that context in today's scenario, which is absolutely missing, and where this type of practices really help. And a lot of people nowadays inviting industry people to their campus, and they do a lot of program like campus to corporate and like this. Now, my question to you this, Vijay, that you have been inspiring many people by conducting training program, meeting so many HR people and NOD people in different organizations. Do you really feel sometime that it's really difficult to make them understand what really you really wanted to serve them? Or there is a need is there, but however, out of the 50-60% of the consultant, those who goes like this, they face a lot of tough time once they move from corporate to freelance, or maybe this type of organization, the work which you do. How do you nugget, and what goes into your mind when you see such things happens? Are you go with the preconceived, the notion that this many percentage people will be going to say yes, and after yes, this many calls, this many, the entire proposal will actually go into the action, and I will be going to this. Share something about this, because this will going to solve the bigger problem in the mindset of the people.
Okay, so I when you ask this question, a couple of things happening in my mind. The first thing is, let me tell you a very quick small story of why this foundation thing came. So when I started this company, I wanted to only help youngsters. So I thought I'll go to colleges, and I think I've explored in this place called as Visakhapatnam, where I met these colleges, and I said, this is what we do. Now everybody wants it. Okay, student wants it because they will get a job. But students are like, can you give me the job instead of all this process? Right. Second, college wants it, but college has this problem of, this is wonderful, we want it, but whatever fees they have paid, we have done our academy. How do I pay you? Parents want it. Parents said, whatever they asked, I gave them. Now why is this extra? So everybody wants it and nobody wants to pay for it. Right. Now I'm talking this about mid to lower level colleges where maximum population lives. The top cream, I am not never connected, maybe because I am not the cream in any place. The reason is they have more exposure, and all these things are done at those level of colleges where people have this life skills they actually learn. Here people learn things to get a job. Now this happens because I think in our education system we are not inspiring people. So this is more going deeper to how our entire education system is there. Like for example, why do we send people to school? What do you think they basically learn? They learn obedience. And this was, in my mind, this is British technique of teaching, because they want clerks for their organizations to work, and they want people to just obediently listen. You imagine, what are we teaching in schools? Obedience. You have to come on time, dress like this, put like this. Don't say, you can't tell like this to teacher. You can't. Everything is obedience. It's all based on obedience. I have done my BCom and I studied the books which my dad studied. Nothing changed in the book. And the age gap is what? 34, 35 years? 35 years, book has not changed. Do you think world is like that? Even today also the same A.K. Agarwal, I think, a commerce book is still being used. Not that any formula will change, but the way business looks at changes, and we don't learn that. And nobody teaches that because they are not equipped. A professor in a college is a professor from his first job. A professor has not seen what's happening outside the world. He mastered that book. So he's comfortable so much that he do not really know. I'm not talking about all professors. They're wonderful professors, but maximum where this second tier 2, tier 3 level of colleges stay. Because only in Andhra, there are 95,000 engineering colleges. Do you know that?
Too much.
Sorry, not 95,000 colleges. I'm saying 95,000 engineers come from only one state called as Andhra Pradesh. Every year, 95,000 engineers. Where do they go? What did they learn? Engineering is itself a joke to that level of people. Will say, engineering, what do you study? 4 years is just. And suddenly they're exposed to they make bad career choices, a lot of them. And then they stick around. See, I think we need to inspire people from that obedience. What I said from the schools, it should change to inspire. We don't ask questions to ask questions. Typically, that's our culture, Just to quote, when Krishna came and tried to give Bhagavad Gita, if you have read Bhagavad Gita a little, you will understand. Entire conversation is questions. Arjuna has 1,000 questions to just ask him to get that little information. Our culture is questioning. And this changed from questioning to obedience by British, and we're still following that. Imagine your child has not done homework today, how pressurized you are. Because what will the teacher tell tomorrow? Not that what I have learned. So until that changes, I think education system has its own, they're slowly trying to do more or less. These projects, everything is one stage. For colleges, project is they're sending students outside. For students, I'll have some exposure. For companies, they'll get cheap labor. Everybody has their individual interests. But if that interests turn to inspire people to grow, I think a lot of things will change. Students need to be understanding the value. We should spend time inspiring them, not making them obedient is what I personally feel. I don't know how much.
Very, very, very nice. And thanks for sharing this. So my question, next to, especially to the corporate, when you go and propose something, there is a problem, the need is there, something is there. So out of, overall proposals, how many will get converted into the actual, the contract, right? So, and just share this and what are the few things you would like to suggest to any, the freelance trainer or maybe any organization, those who are doing the kind of work which you do, so that they will be very well prepared that, okay, this all pre-preparation when you build the proposal, during proposal, before proposal, after proposal, you need to be ready.
So, business insight, if I give you from my experience last 6 years, it depends with whom are you talking. If you go down to up, everyone have their own fears, insecurities. is what I feel. I mean, I'm consciously using the word insecurities. It's like this. Say you are an L&D leader. If I come to you and imagine you are at a managerial level or below that, if I tell you that I can come back and do this training to you, first thing comes to your mind is, what will my boss ask me? Why are you here? Will he come and will it risk my own career? And then it goes on, right? So in my understanding, if the visionary of the organization, right, people at the topper level, if they understand, they have more clarity on what they want. Because as people are at a mid-level, senior manager level, they know action ways. We need to do a training for these people. But what will this training give it to me? See, training is like grooming somebody for future. Now it's like instant eating food, or keep the food. It's like a pickle, you keep it for next 6 months and then you will get the good taste of it. Do you have that much patience in you that I'll help them groom so that they'll become one day? We are worried ki 10,000 extra job salary I'll get, then this person will leave. What's the point? I groom so much and then he'll leave. Your first investment on him is that connectedness, that you are part of my organization. Again, going back to that inspiration wala piece, where people think that see, my dad worked in a company for his entire career in one place. Look at how generation changes, right? So my like say maybe next generation from dad, maybe 2 jobs they would have changed in their entire career. Now today you see people will ask you, 3 years you're still in the same company. Is everything okay with you? We are tuned in that way because we don't see that growth. And there are so much competition. We still have the old ways. I will, you think right now, Zen Alpha, when you say that, you think I'll provide tea, coffee to them, nice place to work for them, and they will stick to me. No, they need much more than that. How are we tuned to that? I think makes a difference. So with regard to getting orders in business, I would say go from the top who understands at what level you're talking. Or change the way you talk to different level of people so that when you reach there, they'll understand. If my alignment with the top is right, I think conversion is at least 80%. But if I'm going from this route, maybe it is 20-30% because it needs to still go there. And we spend a lot of time with one individual. Personally, as an organization, we work as an extended team. So we spend time understanding, learning, giving them that value and all. So somewhere where we lose business is where people feel they cannot afford. And that's another big mental block, because I think people can afford. They waste, in fact, double the money by assuming that I will do a cheap trick. It's like you are not well, you are running hospitals, you know that. Instead of consulting a doctor and spending 2,000 rupees, let me go to a medical shop fellow and ask him for this treatment, and he can also suggest you medicine.
Right. So how do you make them realize this, Vijay? How do you make them realize this? And people really wanted to do. They feel that the trainer is having the magic stick in his hand. He will come and do some akram bakram bambe boo, and things will change. And that also, within the least cost, my budget, my money, my pocket should not, get affected. Right. And rather people are expecting that things will happen in the complementary way. In even the complementary way, they have their own merits, demerits, observation, feedback, and so many all blah, 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 blah things. Right. So much of complexity. So how do you make them realization of the thought what you just shared?
Yeah. Pretty difficult thing, Pankaj. So it's like this. If I try to tell them, they feel you're being salesy, right? You're selling, which is needed, right? People need to understand. That's the reason I said people who could see the vision will understand it. And in the entry level, that's the difficult part, because they don't see that level of, because they themselves don't consider them to be in the organization for more than 3 years. If I tell that, this will help you after 5 years, they are not worried. They're not at all worried. But founders are not like that. They have built it like their baby, and they can see that far. So your entire approach has to be reach there and see what it does. And in one way, when you say trainers are holding magic wand, they are actually. But they need to know how to use it. For example, think of yourself, okay? You have such experience, such wonderful things, so much of career you have seen. But that doesn't mean that everything that is required to be there, you have it. Most of sometimes you do not know what you really need to work on. And sometimes whatever, even if you know, you don't know how do you come out of it. See, if that piece is understood and I'll just release that, you would be at a very different level. So the magic wand is that, where I spend so much interest in you to find out what is that one limiting belief that you have, one little fear that you have. If that is released, your potential is released. Your potential is unlocked. And that's exactly why we call it as unlocked potential. And that's the investment you have to do on an individual. We want quick things. Quick things are not, you're running oncology, you know that. There is no band-aid I will put for a cancer patient, If people have a challenge, you need to spend time to see what exactly is that block. Because most of the times, almost all the times, we do not know our limiting beliefs. It's very difficult for us to get that. A third person will know. Tell me, Pankaj, has this ever happened to you? A friend comes to you running and says, Pankaj, I have this problem, personal problem, whatever. You solve it like this. But when you have similar problem, you can't solve. Has it happened to you?
100%.
Why do you think this happens?
So when you suffer yourself with the problem, you are into your own particular mindset. Then you don't see that the way of solving the problem. When somebody comes to you, you give them a lot of advice, from your experiences, other thing, do this, do that, and then nothing will going to happen to you. Believe you me, I'm there with. So many things are there, because I feel that at that particular time when you are with the problem, you are confined to that particular problem, and you are looking at problem much bigger than the problem exactly existing over there. So the different mindset probably, which is really required, that somebody to come. That is where the coaching and, mentoring, coaching and these all tools really helps.
Exactly. See, for example, you look around your room right now where you're sitting. See your room. Now, when you're in problem, you see it like this. You cannot come out of this. But hold your phone and look at like this. You will see, acha, I'm saying just come out of your problem and look at it. Like how you looked at your friend's problem, you can solve it. But the moment the trouble comes, we're inside it. And you feel it so bigger than me that I cannot come back. Now, this is, as an analogy I told you. But what we do in coaching is, we actually show them that. And then they suddenly feel, it's only this much. And when you have done an action, you'll understand it's only this much. Because what will not stop is time. And if time passes, you look back, what all problems you solved. Imagine when you are in your college, right? That girl did not look at you clearly, such a big problem in life, 4 days you couldn't sleep and you have so much torture. Now, you will laugh at your own self. What nonsense were they doing? All challenges are like this one. So this limiting beliefs needs to be known, understood, and that's what the magic wand is. You just touch that. And everybody wants to grow. If you leave yourself, it will go to its ultimate potential. The only problem is we are holding it. ये क्या बोलेगा, ये क्या सोचेगा, वो क्या करेगा, ये क्या करेगा, घर पे क्या बोलूं, बॉस को क्या बोलूं, इसको क्या. So much.
Super. I'm recalling, one of the tool which I use. If you can permit me, I would like to share at this point of time.
Please.
So when you are with the problem, when leaders are in the problem, when anyone, see the problem in the organization, people, process, system, anything, I feel that the problem narrow down their vision, and they are into the tunnel vision kind of thing, that do not able to look outside. Now, and in this entire process of, narrowing down this, the problem and everything, they are unable to think outside. At this point of time, I always, recommend and I always advise people that always keep your that success log. What is a success log? Many people, they overcome so many problems in their life. So I always used to tell them, okay, write down the problems you faced in your past and you overcome upon these problems. Right. So whenever you again go with the same mindset, with the narrowing down with the problem and the complexity, you are unable to look outside, look into those the learning locks or maybe success locks which you overcome. That will further fill you with a lot of positive emotions and the courage. Yes, this is nothing. I have overcome upon so much of bigger problem. This will further, so that the confidence which you are about to lose at that point of time when you are suffering with the problem, you are unable to see outside, you need help of someone, you again filled up with the problem by yourself, and you say to yourself, yes, I can overcome upon this. That courage actually is required at that point of time in that particular mindset.
Correct.
So
that's your core point of emotional intelligence piece, right? I'll give you another technique. Okay, try using this. This technique is called as think extreme. Okay, for example, when COVID's happened, everywhere people are like so worried, though this, and everyone is challenged for everything, right? I know this even in one of my YouTube channel, I would have said this. I said, think extreme. What could happen maximum? You will die, right? And nobody will touch your body. That's the extreme that will happen. Where are you today? At my home with my family, eating my food. When you think extreme what could happen, and then you think immediately about your current position, you will see that, acha. So anytime when you have problem, like you need to fire 100 people. I'm saying corporate-wise problem. It's so damn difficult. Because I have no choice. It's not like I have some personal grudge, I will take out people. But company has to. What if you don't fire? 10,000 other people will also be jobless. Then this 100 is not painful. I have to cut my finger. Oh my God, I cannot do all these things. You will die. Or this small finger. It's much more simpler. So practically what I feel, this one technique of think extreme, and don't stay there. Immediately come back to see where you are today. This will suddenly bring down your blood pressure like shh, and it's okay. What big deal? You don't get time to spend with your time, a little time to spend with your family, and suddenly, nature gave you 2 years. Now we don't want to spend any more time with them. We just want to rush back. See, so there is always something which really works. So that's the little mindset piece. If we really want to do. With regard to talking on how do you motivate this one, build this one, I think it's all initial entry level things, days and all. Otherwise, you are only one of you know what you have done and what you have not done. I mean, if someone says, oh, I'm good, the self-talk, I don't know, to a level, I feel you know what is you're capable of. Why do you have, first of all, create a doubt to it? And then again, think of something and then you come back, yeah, I can do it. Don't do that self-doubt.
Yeah.
You have already crossed so many things.
Yeah. So the next question is, when you say about that the founders, so cracking deal with the founders and the startups is much easier compared to the established organization?
I think every visionary understands their vision. It is two things to me. One, established organization would have tried more things. So their learning and experience is comparatively more. So they are very specific. To me, if there is an opportunity and if we are there to tell them that how you can add value to that opportunity, you are in. If there is no opportunity and you are trying to talk a lot, you would not get. Like, for example, imagine you do not have a training need from, and I keep sending you my profile and keep talking to you and come on Pankaj, do something. Nothing would happen because you can't create something for somebody until the need is there. Now, when you have a need that I have 21 hospitals, I'll say 4,000 people and everybody needs to get something, need is definitely there. And if somebody can add value to fulfill that need, your options are much more easier because you would have tried. It's not that you would have not tried. You are yourself a L&D person. You would have tried with all your zonal people how it can be done. But you know that practically it's not happening. You need some additional push, but you also know that in your organization you can't get additional manpower. An external can still work because you have to answer so many people. You have to answer the system, how we operate. And you don't want to take that overhead of, I'll increase the capex cost by getting so many more people.
Yeah.
So many options are there. Right place, right time, you will get.
Yeah. So now, Vijay, help us in understanding another important thing about your book, explore your
Unlock your potential.
unlock your potential of the organization. So when you were thinking about this name, I was just the thought came into my mind when I look at for the first time the cover page. Why not people? Why organization? Organization is some of the people in the organization. And share something more about this. How did you got the inspiration of authoring a book, and what all things you put in the book, and something which will be helpful for our audience.
Okay. So thanks to COVID, this thing happened. This was one of my bucket list. One point of time I wanted to author something that I have learned. So I don't want to write something.
Very rarely people say thanks to COVID.
I'll tell you why I'm saying thanks to. So I said, no, you got to pick that one positive thing in any biggest negative. So when COVID happened, I just started my company. I had some 4 clients, was busy. I thought, you small person like me, what will COVID do? I remember that day from morning till evening, I lost all my clients. All 4 of them said, we'll halt, and stopped. So suddenly from 4 clients, super busy, to I have nothing to do. And I was, I have a home office in my in-laws place, top floor, where I have made it as like my office. So I'm always alone. So COVID doesn't make any difference. I'm anyway in my office. And now what do? I thought, whatever we have learned till now, let's try to put it in a book. I'm not that sit and write kind of thing. So there is a way, a system I have first researched and try to develop how a book can be written. Then why this one? Because this is the only thing I have done in my last 23 years. I have done L&D properly, and I've experimented so many things. What some worked, some did not work. So I tried to put, how about bringing all the things that worked and telling people how I have done and it worked, and you see in your scenario and how it will happen. So this entire book need to be very, very practical guide that people can pick anything and do. Now when I think of L&D, there are 5 activities I believe in L&D. One is consulting. Second one is creating content. Third one is delivering the content. Fourth one is assessment, and fifth one is reinforcement. This is all what L&D does. And as deeper you can go in each thing. So my book is actually these 5 things. Now if you see, there are 7 sections in my book.
Yeah.
There is an introduction, then there's 5 sections, and there's a closing. Otherwise, book is these 5 things. Now, for each of this consulting, how do you think about? Each one is a chapter. So I took a month and a half or almost 2 months to only design 1 page. I can share sometime if I get the PDF, where what chapters should come in each. There's a mind map tool I use. So 1.5 month full time I worked only to decide these 50 chapters plus what needs to be done. Once that picture is done, every day I did 1 chapter. Every day I come, I do my preparation, whatever study and all. Then I put my headphone and mic, and I pick a topic and I just talk what I feel and how I worked and how it learned. And those things I will do 1 round of edit and put it in more structure. So words to script. Now it's almost 70-80% accuracy it will come in Google free software only. There's nothing need to be done. So I got the script there in the Word file. Now I put it in structure, did 2 rounds of this, and then used an external party to correct it because I would feel so 50 chapters, 50 days. 6 months time exactly it took for my book to be published. And why unlock potential? Because that's the only, from the starting also I told you, the idea is always to unlock. Even my company Up and Rise, Up full form is Unlock Potential and Rise is the name of my company. So our basic idea is everybody has potential. It's just that we sometimes work on our potential or not work on our potential. And I'll tell you why we do. You've been to tuitions in your 7th, 8th standards?
Yeah.
I'm sure you would have sent your children also to tuitions when they're 7th, 8th. Which subject did you send them? Subject which they're very good or subject which they're not good?
Not good at.
So you know what you have done? You have invested your time, energy and money in something that they're not good. Not on something they're good. And we grew up like that. And every time we try to put more effort, more everything on something that we are not good. It means on our weaknesses, not on our strengths.
Yeah.
Imagine your strength is 5, your weakness is 2. Your effort is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5, but 5 plus 2 is 7. You will achieve much more if you work on your strengths. But the way we all brought up and everything we do is we work on our weaknesses than on our strengths. So I'm saying that's not how you should think. Everybody has potential. You just need to be unlocked. Every organization has potential. And organization is what? Bunch of people. Now, from an individual, you look at as an org. And that's exactly what I try to do. And even if, see, like I met you yesterday and I gave you my book. I did not give you any my company brochure or anything, right? You understood what is it that I could deliver. Now that's the idea of writing the book for the organization. And every customer I meet, right? Every founders or senior people I meet in organization, I will give. And I said, see, honestly, if you call me, I will do this only. But I will do it with what worked and what's not done and things like that. And that's the idea why unlock potential has come, because everybody, I strongly believe, has their potential, have their strengths. If we can help them to unlock it and make them work on their strengths. Similarly, organization also. You see in your company, what you do? Somebody don't know how to work on Excel, you want them to work on Excel because you think they will learn. They might be very good at PowerPoint, give them that. You will get much better result than making that person work on. This is basically how you'll unlock. Otherwise, you made a wrong hire. So when you hire people for a strength and you're using it for their weakness. I mean, it might sound like a joke, but unfortunately or fortunately, we're doing this. We hire people for their strengths, and wherever they're weak, we push them to work on that. How is it going to?
Wonderful perspective. Very nicely, put there. My next question is, Vijay, that what is the role of a leader in driving all those developmental activities? And over your past decades, you have been, from last couple of decades into the learning and development. What has changed from the leadership perspective? Well, let's talk something about the role of a leader in any organization.
Interesting. Nice. So when you ask, I'm just thinking at this moment, if I see at this, I feel, it's funny that somebody sometimes calls like I'm a leader. I think you do something, that's when people call you leader, because you have seen something which others were not able to see. Right? If I announce myself as a leader, then I don't think it's the right way. If people feel that, he can lead or she can lead. Why she lead or she can lead? Because they are okay to follow, and it's a very tedious job, leadership, because you need to make millions, hundreds of people work towards the way you are looking at it, and which they are not seeing it yet. So it's a very different level of skill that we need to be there. It's not a position, right? You don't need to be a leader to be the top of the organization. You can be leader at whichever place, at what you're doing. The second thing I feel, leadership leadership means where people keep you on the perch, always, like you're a leader. If you're sitting in the perch and if you're not seeing farther than what others can see, I think that's a lost leadership. They're not able to do it. So the most important thing for a leader is, where do I want this entire bunch of people to take? And what could be the path? Right, and then lead them towards that. That path should be inspiring enough for everybody to work with this person to reach there. So I would say that vision people should have, that skill of inspiring, for something that they would see. That way of imagining that image in your picture, in your mind, what is it is to be there, and then able to articulate it and communicate it to people down, that this is how that place should be. I think that's how it is. Like explaining a small kid that let's go to Wonderlaw and enjoy the Wonderlaw. How would you do it? He say, what Wonderlaw? I'm playing with my friends in the park. Big slides are there, how the water is. What do? You try to ensure to talk to this person in that way so that he get inspired. I think at a business level, something like that needs to be there, because you have seen, they are not able to see it. So seeing it farther, able to inspire people the way you could do, and ensuring they are walking with you the path, and you are leader because they are considering you as leader, not because you are at a position and you become leader and they will be like, if I don't follow him, I lose my job. These are all very small way of looking at it.
Interesting. Some of the techniques or the tricks which you use in your training program, which really created wow, which really touched the hearts of the people, if you can share, will be very helpful for all our training community LNOD people.
Okay. So two things I do. One, I try to ensure trainings are experiential. The experience stays with people, and even if there are 20 people, 20 different minds, and you're talking the same topic, all 20 will understand very differently.
Yeah.
Because see, learning is, if you consider as an analogy of learning as a journey, everybody's journey starts from the seat they're sitting. So you are sitting at a different seat, I'm sitting at a different seat, somebody else is sitting at a different seat. Their journey starts from there. Now what we understand is everybody is like a running race, starting in the same place and will reach the same. It's not going to be like that. So I'll teach you 10 things, or I'll talk about 10 things. Maybe you will pick 2 things that are needed for you. Somebody else will pick 3 things. I should be, first of all, okay with that. Right. And then how would they pick it? Because if it is experiential only. Now, experientially is a very big word and a very difficult thing to do, that you're able to make people experience it. And that's what I think my entire effort was. The second point which I was trying to say is I do a lot of activity based. When I say activity based, the idea is not that कुछ game कर दो या फिर कुछ कर दो, people will be busy and all. No, people will actually be engaged into doing something is when they'll experience. Think like this: how will you experience cricket? By watching it or by playing it? Right? Because playing it is always more. Nowadays it's so much that watching it also you will have experience. That last ball, the pressure, the tension and all, right? Because you have played it. If somebody has never played cricket, they don't actually get that experience by watching it.
Yes.
The training program is making them play. And then we work on their mindset so that later when they don't need to play also, they just watch. Because I'm not with them with all the time. And then still they will get that experience of acha last ball. Show them the taste of it and then leave. So I would say experiential, keep it activity based. And the third, and I think the another one which covers this entire stuff, is add value to their learning. It's something people can use from the next. Like we give a lot of tools in training, like simple tools, but the tool will help them to use the learning that they have. Otherwise, learning is good, but I don't know how to use. So I say there are 3 ways to look at it. You should know everything. Knowing is one part of it. Anything that comes to your mind, you know it. It's like a funnel in your mind, The second one is called as understanding something that you know. Don't try to understand everything in the world. First, know things. Whatever you know, from there, try to understand few things. And then the third and most important is implement things that you have understood. So knowing something, understand something that you know, and implement something that you understand. And if the third thing is not done, the first 10 things have no value. So you might know 1,000 things. Can you make them understand 5 things? Can they pick 1 or 2 things that they will implement? And we give them tools to implement those 1-2 things. And that's when things change.
Interesting. You are reminding me entire, the steps of the Bloom's taxonomy.
Oh, is it?
What Bloom has really mentioned. Yeah. So Bloom taxonomy has 6 steps. Okay. First step is being aware about those things. The second one is comprehending the things and building understanding, then experimenting, then evaluating, and then creating. You create your own thing, This goes like this, you do not know how to make tea. First of all, you get to learn for the first time in your life what is the tea is called. Second one, you saw your mom is, making a tea. She is putting, putting on the gas and mixing a water with the milk and the tea and sugar and everything. And she cooked for this much period of time. And then she serve it. You are observing that. You're building, you're comprehending, you're understanding. After that, you first experiment. The first time, you try to build it. You do not know how to put, what should put there first and the second and the last, something like this. And over a period of time, you learn how to make a tea. And then after some time, having some experience, you become a master of making tea. If somebody want you to make a tea quickly, elaichi or maybe ginger tea or maybe cardamom tea or maybe any tea, you said, okay, no problem, I'll bring it quickly, right? And then over a period of time, you do some experiment by your own self. I will make my own tea, like this. So this all the steps, I just explain about the Bloom taxonomy.
I don't know. I didn't know about it. I'm happy that chalo there is a big model for it.
So
Model.
Absolutely. So I do, all this as a part of instructional design. People need to really learn all these things about the training and the learning and development whenever they are building or shaping up any program. Now, my second last question is, what are certain don'ts for a trainer?
Don'ts. I think it's individually where people working on their weaknesses. I'll say you don't do that. Work on your strengths. But for a trainer, specifically, if you say, don't do anything for a tick mark that I have done it. If you don't believe it, you shouldn't teach it. If you don't think it, if you cannot do it because it doesn't work for you, it will not work for anybody. It will not work for anybody because you have not experienced it. Maybe somebody else it worked, they can teach that. So the way you teach will change if you believe in it. So if I have a concept, I think first I should apply it on myself and see whether it is working or not. I think a lot of L&D happens where people learn from here, there, listen to it, and then they start delivering it, and they will not get what it is required. I'm not saying that you should not learn and deliver. You should always learn, but the point is not learn and deliver. The point is learn, experience, and then deliver. That experience piece, I think, is not so strongly taken. So if you have not experienced, that's a big don't for me, that you do not deliver. The last piece, I would say, it took 10 years for me to come out of this mindset that post-training survey scores are most important.
Feedback.
I think the scores to get 10 में 9.8, 2 good jokes or 2 bad jokes, in the end you will get it. That is good to start with. But if you change your gear from effort to impact, I think everything will change. Trainers who are talking on, I have done this, I have done this many training, that many training. I want to ask them only one question. Okay, you have done all this, but what happened? If what happened is not clear in their mind, then what you have done has no sense. You don't need to work for 100 hours. If you can get something in 2 hours, then that's, I think, is much better than... Because a trainer delivers a day session for 20 people. It means 20 into 8 hours is the investment, not that 2-3 lakhs you have got for that. That many people have looked about it. And that if you have done some bad training, those learnings will last in their mind for a long time. So you have such a responsible job, right? When you're touching 1,000 people, your hand should be clean first. So I think if your hands are not clean, don't go to touch 1,000 people. First, ensure it is clean.
Super. I am reminding here a couple of things here. So first of all, a trainer need to really understand and use the approach which is more of consultative approach whether they are working in the organization or as a freelance trainer. Consultative approach is a very different approach compared to as a trainer approach. Understand that are you a needle mover or something else is a needle mover. Performance is the issue, and there are multiple factors for the non-performance. And leader normally the first thing come into the sight is learning, training, the LNOD, kind of initiatives. It's not. So your job is not only to just whatever your stakeholders are saying, are complaining, you just go and fulfill their need, whether they are required or not. Do a proper diagnosis. So we follow certain methodologies into that. I'm sharing because it's going to be benefiting someone who is watching this. So ask 2 questions. The question to the people, the top performer and the bottom performer, take for an example sample piece of 5 people or maybe 10 people like this. Ask simple question: what is helping you to achieve whatever you are achieving? Maybe 30%, 40%, 60%, 70%, 90% of the performance of overall goal. And second question: what is not helping you to achieve? So when you keep these questions and you move to the different functions in an organization, you go to finance head, you go to operation head, you go to IT head, you go to other people, those who are supplying, the material, or you go to the leaders, those who are there. you have good chunking of data. Right? When it comes to chunking of the data, you put this all data into the inverted comma. You need not to change their sentence. You need not to put your mind, your words into it. Keep it as it is. And this data speaks something. Find out the commonalities into all these inventories, what you take from these people. And then think, keeping all this data in the hand, think that whether is it really a training is the issue, learning is the issue, or issue is something else.
True.
Maybe the remuneration is the issue. Maybe the incentive is the issue. Maybe the logistic is the issue. Maybe the process is the issue. Right? If there is something else which is sounding that, hey, there is no problem with the skill and the will of the people, there is something else is there, go and sound to the leader that this is the problem.
Exactly.
You may not get that assignment for your, the learning and development and for the training, but you will be one of the, the person in an organization who is the one of the person for a long term, for a leader who a leader can rely on, believe on. Right? Second thing, as you shared about the learning thing, there are three things. One is called I hear, I see, and I do. I hear, I remember, I see, I believe, I do, and I learn, which is what you said is the most important one, the experiential kind of thing. Right? So these are the few small nuances every trainer must learn. And if they follow these processes, and there are many more things, in the instructional design and AD model, and so many things are there, many models are there. But when you actually do it, you will definitely going to learn the importance of it. So in my the tenure, Vijay, I was successful and thankful to the people, those who made me learn about all those concepts, and the full 7 days, 15 days of the training program, sitting in the room and learning from the world-class best leaders, especially the coaches and the trainers, and which makes really a hell lot of difference into your own understanding. When you understand things from this perspective, I think you open up another window and another, the progression for yourself, and you stand out in the overall community and helping the organization to move. So are you a needle mover, or needle mover is something else? If it is something else, sound them that this is not the thing, this is my diagnosis. Your people have, said all this.
True.
Take this. So there is many more things are there.
Yeah.
So when I ask you the question that what a trainer need not to do, I feel a lot of, understand your audience first. The group of people, the experience what they have, the kind of, the culture into the organization, the kind of the learning habit of the people, what kind of learning habit is there, which you are trying to, build in the system, the maturity level of the system. Prepare yourself or the content or maybe the delivery style as per the audience. So certain preparation is the key to success for any trainer or for any leader. Before even you are going to deliver a talk for 10 minutes, if you can prepare well, I think you can stand out and people will vouch and remember the examples and the experience people are going through in such programs. So wonderful things. Vijay, last question. Any suggestion you would like to give to our viewers? Suppose if they would like to become an author, or they would like to become a freelance trainer, successful freelance trainer, or the consultant.
Okay, because I don't know what is successful actually. I think that's you define. If your success is in comparison with somebody, then I would not call it a success. Maybe it's some kind of sickness actually, that I should be better than somebody. I don't think that's how it is. So you define what is a successful trainer. It's led to you. See, for example, I think people need to understand what they really need. Like somebody says, I'm so passionate about, for example, playing flute. Then play. No, but where are the audience? So your passion is not playing flute. Your passion is playing flute in front of people. So you basically you're seeking not happiness of playing flute, but you're seeking, say, maybe attention, maybe money, maybe I'm saying it's nothing wrong in it, but you be clear first. So for anybody who wants to get into, I want them to be first clear what you want. If they're clear about it, I think great. When you ask me two things, career for trainers or for freelancers, or writing a book. See, writing a book is not a need or necessity. It is your wish to share. If you have something that you feel, if I can share, will help people, you should definitely do. Maybe slowly books are becoming an old school, and everything is digital and all. But I think you leave a legacy when you write something, and then you leave things, and that's wonderful. There are always different people looking for different things. See, maybe I'm there, not there. Life happens. After 50 years also, somebody would come. There is something available where I feel my little legacy. But if I really want to leave something, maybe I wish I should leave something which could help people, or best of my work. So I want to write what what topic you want to write is something that you should spend time on, something which you have done, and you think sharing that will help people. It could be a small thing, big thing. There's no smaller big thing, actually. We make smaller big here. So I think if you have something like that, you should write. And there are newer ways of writing. Maybe some other time when we talk, I can also tell you the model of how to write a book. I was thinking in between, I would have a session on how to write a book in 6 months, because 6 months I published. Now I can tell in 6 months how you can publish a book. There are ways now. It's very easy now. Earlier days, maybe it's difficult. Now you have tools like your voice to written, which will take a lot of time. You have press like Notion Press and all, which are self-publishing in places. Then going to not published one, they will read scripts and all. It's more, system is more easier. So if you have something to share, you should share. Don't worry how many people buy. You are not writing for somebody else, right? At a way. First, you're writing for yourself, that you want to express it. If this expression helps somebody, then why not? And it's not like today I will write a book, tomorrow I will get this much money, I will become famous. Ye sab kuch hota nahi hai. There are 3,000 books that come every, I think, month, or that's it starts somewhere. But if you have something to share, you should write. And I think you should make it more specific. And tell people, see, for example, I thought my book is only for L&D leaders or founders who wants to see that to build organization's potential. So I only give my book to either trainer or an L&D leader or a founder or CEO. If I give it to an ops guy, a tech guy, I don't think it's for them. It's waste of their time. So maybe what you want to write, you be very clear to whom you should go and then do it. Talking about getting into this profession, to a level, it's same thing. If you have enough to share, and if you have that passion to connect to people, help somebody, that gives you a kick, you should get in. Money, I think you will make. We are shouldn't be so worried about how do I make my living or my survival. Everybody lives, right? So much of studies, so much of degrees, so much of experience is all to get some money or feed my family. I think everybody feeds their families. Right. If it is only about procurement and reproduction, then every animal does that. If you have that thing that I can contribute, I can help somebody grow better, you should get in. It's like this. Sachin's coach might not play like Sachin, but he can pick that one thing which will help Sachin to play good. So you have to decide, you want to be Sachin in your career or his coach. If you want to be his coach, trainer, coaching and all are better for you. Because there he's not about his self ki make itna popular. How did I do? But he could make someone else better than what they are today. If that attitude you have, you should definitely be. And you will learn. It's not that you learn everything and you'll become a trainer. Once you become a trainer, you show interest in other people and you will learn. With regard to coaches, recently I've learned this. What should you coach? Think yourself, say 8 years back. Where were you and how were you? They are the right persona for you. Coach them. Because this journey will help them. The 8 years what you have done, if you can help them do it in 4 years or 3 years or 2 years, you're doing a great job. So don't see that everybody who wants to be trainer, they say, I'll do leadership training. How much of leadership have you done? Is a question. But everybody wants leadership. You think leaders are sitting idle to just listen to somebody who will come and start? No. Right. Just because you want, you don't get it. See where you can add value. So the best way to look at add value is see yourself 3 years down the line, 3 years back, 5 years back, 8 years back. And those are your key people. Help them to reduce that 8 years time to 4 years time. to 2 years time, I think you will make a drastic change. And that happiness which a trainer gets, no, you are an L&D person, nobody gets it. Nobody in this world will get that satisfaction which a trainer gets end of the day when they see somebody, they've done it. I trained in MBA college. My kick, morning when you walk, you have 100, 150 people looking at you and saying wishing. Not that in your office they don't do. They do, but what is back. They really feel that this person is doing something for me. You don't get that kick anywhere else. So that kick, that passion which you feel, I think nobody else will get the way a trainer gets. I mean, I'm sure you have experienced it tons of times. We're just talking here.
So lovely, I am really, overwhelmed when you shared the story, when you shared the definition of success. Superb, lovely, it is something, which was much, much deeper and very much important for everybody to learn. Whom are you competing? What is the definition of a success for you? And absolutely, I am bingo on that. So maybe, when I am doing something, I am delivering session and I felt so good, that's the success for me. Whenever I am delivering session and my audience were pin drop silence and they were actually feeling it, and there was a scenario, there was a moment when I felt that I am absolutely in connection with my audience, that's the happiness for me. Right? When you do something for any organization, for any individual, and you see that person achieve some success, you are moved to the performance from maybe 5%, 2%, 1%, 3%, and the reason of that performance is you, or the session you deliver. That's a success for you. So what is that? I am really absolutely, I don't want to say more than this, but lovely interacting with you, Vijay. Thank you so much for contributing and sharing your vital, pure, genuine thoughts. We will be going to have one more discussion on some other topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.